Sie hören Sport und Musik.
It's John Brooks for the USA!
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Ooh. Welcome to the
over.
American Hour.
The wait is over. MLS is back, baby.
MLS is back. It's coming back. It's coming back. This is the last episode before we get some real live MLS action. Bjorn, how excited are you?
I'm pretty excited, actually. Actually pretty excited. The off-season, off-season is long. This year, we've had that really almost total preseason video blackout. There was some highlights here and there, but not a lot of. So I didn't get to obsess over preseason games. Also, my team is kind of, the signings are slow to trickle in.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'm ready. I want to see it. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Let's see what's going on.
All right. So, speaking of the media blackout, we had a member of the Schnitzel Boys team at one of the preseason events on the ground to report.
It was you.
It was me, Schnitzel Boy Stefan. And again, I should have brought in some photos. I realized as I was verbal processing last week, if you listened to the episode last week, I was like, wait a minute, I'm nearby. I should just go to the thing. I should go to this the Coachella Valley Invitational is what it was called. It's a little mini preseason tournament. A lot of MLS clubs and one or two USL clubs, supposedly. Although San Diego Loyal did cancel their appearance. I don't 100% know why. But I think 5 MLS clubs were there, at least 5. And they were there, and I'm like, let's go take a look. Because you're right. There was total media blackout. However, I think that opened up. Because when I was there, people were filming it. There were cameras, official cameras.
I saw some highlights. Yeah, there were some highlights.
But not all of the games had highlights. Because, so the way it worked, anyway, so I go to this Coachella Valley thing. So I drive out to the desert. And if you've ever been, it's the Palm Springs area. It's really much the desert. And then they have these brand new communities surrounded by palm trees. And this whole tournament took place at a polo club, the Empire Polo Club. And it's like right next to the golf course. It's this little town that has no stoplights. There were 6-lane interchanges, all done stop sign only. All stop sign, which I'd never seen before. And dangerous, if you ask me. But it's brand new grass, brand new hotels everywhere, statues of horses. There's tennis courts, there's golf courts, there's hotels, there's palm trees. It's like a desert oasis. And outside the palm trees, just desert, and then the huge mountain ranges in the background. It was very picturesque, very picturesque.
Yeah, great. What you sent me was beautiful.
Yeah. Definitely check out the photos. It was as surreal as it looked. And then you go on to this complex, and there were 2 soccer fields with bleachers. And if you looked one way, you saw one soccer field, and literally you could just turn around and see the other soccer field. So I'm watching NYCFC versus St. Louis City FC. But if I turn around, it's Toronto FC versus the Portland Timbers, right behind me. Michael Bradley's
it's like as if COVID was back. It was COVID times at the wide world of sports.
Yeah, MLS is back tournament, but no giant Adidas logo on the field this time, and people were in the stands. So I watched parts of 5 straight MLS games. which is
Wow.
quite a marathon, by the way.
Yeah.
The big game for me was Galaxy versus Red Bulls in the morning. That was lovely. My New York Red Bulls won. They were undefeated, and they let 0 goals go past them in the entire preseason, which I would be excited about, except as we discussed earlier, preseason doesn't
means
mean
nothing.
dick.
It
So
means nothing.
means dick.
Unfortunately for you, it means nothing.
But so the Galaxy lost 1-0 to my Red Bulls. Then right after that, I watched part of San Jose destroy Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. Literally, San Jose, it was 2-0 by the 10 minutes, and I think it was 3 or 4. I don't remember the score, but I saw some of San Jose, Minnesota. And again, like preseason's odd, it's interesting to see San Jose do so well because they've been so underwhelming. Then I went to watch the NYCFC St. Louis City FC game, I believe was right after that. I watched a large part of that. I called you afterwards. We talked about that.
Yeah.
It was 3-3, right?
3-3.
The highlights did end up being online. And
Bochum,
then I caught
former Bochum legend Löwen with the late equalizer.
the Lion. And then I watched the first half of Toronto versus Portland. So those 4 games. I mean, not 5. But then I was sort of socked out. And it was also very sunny because it was the desert. And I still have sunburn from that because I should have put some sunscreen on. But if I waited, I would have gotten a picture with Michael Bradley, but I just went home. Toronto was good. A couple notes. The fact that the Portland Timbers came out strong supporter-wise. And as I discussed when I talked to you about it, it was such an interesting makeup. They were like all these older, like Palm Springs golf, like the kind of people you'd see at a golf or a tennis tournament. Older, they were in polo shorts. It was like I saw a bunch of couples like that, men and women, married couples, but they were diehard Timbers fans.
Amazing.
Timbers. It was so cool to see. I loved it. I was like, hell yeah, we need more of that. I love the fact there's a bunch of older ladies behind me, like literally groups of older ladies, like Red Hat Society ladies. You know what the Red Hats Club is, Bjorn?
No.
It's a society that elderly, maybe retired ladies get together and go out and do things. They go out to watch movies. Like my mom's the Red Hat Club, and they all just went to watch 80 for Brady. That's a Red Hat Club thing to do. Behind me, there was like a gaggle of older ladies. And they were like, "Come on, Timbers!" All the Timbers aren't. They were talking like a soccer fan. They're soccer fans. So the expression "keep Portland weird" is alive and well, and I love it, and I support it. And a gaggle of a couple Red Bulls fans, a couple of NYCFC fans. When the Galaxy played, they bust in one school bus after another of middle school and elementary school and high school kids out of school to watch the Galaxy do a preseason game. I guess good on them, but army of kids came to watch it. They're just happy to be out of school. I mean, imagine if you were in school and you got to skip it to go watch a preseason game, a Bochum preseason game. Wouldn't that have been fun? That would have been nice.
Amazing. Yeah, no, super fun.
All about that.
This sounds like a great time. I'm sure it's also, I mean, you were saying, right, this sort of a casual atmosphere, the players are hanging out. Yeah, it's cool.
And also they have these scissor lifts that would go up, like almost these big cherry picker kind of things, but scissor lift. And there was one, I think that was a team by team thing, because the scissor lift that went up for the San Jose Minnesota United game, where a guy had a camera, they had Minnesota gear on. So it was like Minnesota chose to do that. There was no San Jose guys there. There was no like MLS guys there. And I think when the NYCFC game was happening, I think it was NYCFC guys I think that was like a club per club basis. Like not every team filmed it or took pictures. Only some chose to do it.
The stats guys, or it's just not Bertie. I just saw this clip where Bertie Folks spied in disguise, spied on the Scottish team during the 1986 World Cup. Germany was playing Scotland, and Bertie Folks, who was an assistant coach at the time, pretended to be a vending machine repairman in order to in order to get in there and watch the Scots play, and that worked. Germany won that game. Anyway, so it was not, they had a cherry picker. You didn't have to guise yourself. You could just
I would have loved if, when the game was over, he had to spend 6 hours repairing the vending machines and then refilling the Cokes. Just be like, I need to commit to this ruse.
Just to keep the ruse going. Yeah, that's
bunch
funny.
of Scottish guys are like, hey, this machine ate my dollar. This machine ate my pound. And he'd be like, yes, right away. I do work at this. I am the machine man. I do work here. That was my Betty folks talking to Stevie Nicol or whoever was there. Stevie Nicol. Or Gordon Strechen or whoever was around there. Anyway, very fun. I miss those days. Now you can just, there's no romance to it. Now you can just go on your phone and look at the clips. Back in the day, you had to have a disguise to sneak.
Back in the day, when I would, as a child, I would rush downstairs to read the newspaper. We would get the newspaper delivered to our front door. That's where I would find out results.
Well, I did that in high school too. We had when I was in Raleigh, we had the News and Observer, and flip open the sports box score, and you'd see the MLS scores and follow MLS that way.
This was Bundesliga. It's like, this is why the Friday night games, Sunday morning, or Saturday morning rundown. That's how you'd find out. Yeah.
Well, my dad's day. It's so funny. My dad is an older dude. He's old and retired. Lives in Florida. But if you play the 1954 squad, he could name each and every single person and what club they were in, like no problemo, because those were his heroes when he was a kid. And he didn't have a TV. So it must have been almost exclusively radio. He must have heard all that stuff. I mean, TVs came later, or his neighbor had a TV or something. But
that's what I did as a kid still. Sport und Musik, Saturday afternoon. Live broadcast interrupted by weird music. That's the other. It's not like they would just have wall to wall. I don't know why this was. Like, there was some kind of regulation.
Yeah, Sport und Musik.
You couldn't just have wall to wall. The last 15, 20 minutes, everybody, it was like conference, whip around audio, very exciting. But up to that point, it was always a little bit, and then a little music. It's like, why not just, nobody wants to hear these tunes, just keep. But I don't know, that's how they did it.
Half the crowd was there for the tunes. You gotta respect it. Like, no one wants to watch the soccer game.
I really don't think so.
I need to hear my papa. My friend Tyler just sent me, says the Germany stuff, something from German TV, some kids puppet thing. I just laughed his butt off. And I was like, this is just what German TV looks like. Like, I don't know what the joke, I definitely know what the joke is, but this is not a specifically interesting clip. This is just a very generic clip. Most of German TV is a guy with a microphone being like, and pointing, and he points to someone, the camera pans over, and someone plays a song. That's like 50% of German television.
It's normal.
Like the Klaus and Klaus guys with the Woody Follow. It's like, hey, it's just like, check it out. And so it always goes to some guy. It's like, that's just what half the TV is. Whether it's for kids or adults. But even today, the German broadcasts, like during halftime of games, depending on if it's on national network, just go straight to the news. Halftime is over, news for 15 minutes, Tagesschau. And it's just the news. So if you flip in during the game, you can just be like, is this the right channel? You know what I mean? Like, they don't, and then when the news is over, it's like, back to the game. And you just cut right straight back to the game. It's not like here where it's like a halftime analysis and commercials and you're cutting in. They're like, we got 15 minutes. It's time for news. Anyway, speaking of broadcasts, we finally got to see some Apple TV preview. Some of the preseason games over the weekend were broadcast as a test. And my, oh my, do they look pretty, Bjorn. Pretty. Yeah.
Good image quality was very solid. I guess full 1080p. I watched like 10 minutes of it. It was Orlando and the New England Revolution. I wasn't particularly.
I watched the highlights, yeah.
So I watched it, but picture quality looks good. The graphics are very plain, almost a little generic, perhaps. But I guess it's the Apple. That's the Apple way. The very very clean looking. Yeah, it was nice. Looking forward to it.
I learned the term sports bug over the weekend.
Sports bug? What's a sports bug?
Sports bug, according to all the Redditor comments. You know how Reddit's a place where people comment like things everybody know. Like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know what a sports bug is." Sports bug is a term they use to describe the upper score, like what the score graphics look like.
Oh, is that what that's called? Okay, yeah.
Or a Chiron. I would maybe call it Chiron, or like how it's like they're like, "Oh, the colors were wrong" or something. I think the one complaint was they got some of the colors wrong with the clubs or something up here on the sports
okay.
bug. But that's
so
it.
The graphics person actually needs to know which team is which.
Right.
Yeah,
they'll get better. But
I mean, it's going to be chaos, right? There's going to be so many. It's going to be a shit show for a couple weeks, but
we'll see.
We'll see.
That escaped my mind. I don't know. The thing, sports bug. Oh, the other thing that just blows my mind. It's people are still talking about Apple TV. It's not on cable anymore. It's like, for crying out loud, it's been the only thing on news for like 11 months now.
Well, there's a lot of there's a lot of casual fans who don't pay attention.
No, there aren't. On this league, there are no casual fans.
Well, you're finding out that there are people who are like, "What?" So no, there's still
Reddit.
On Twitter. There's still a lot of.
However,
I mean, this still happens frequently on Twitter, where then somebody's, there's this Apple thing comes up, and then somebody's like, "Oh, that's crazy," or whatever. I'm just going to keep watching it on my local channel, and then it's like, well, who's going to tell him?
It's very accessible. It's still on Fox, still on Unimas. It's free on the app sometimes, or whatever.
Everything's free. Everything's free the first
weekend or whatever.
The first weekend.
If you have T-Mobile, it's free. If you have Metro PCS, it's free.
Yeah.
They're giving it away.
I think I don't know. I am extremely. I mean, there's going to be complaints. There's obviously it's going to take them a while to get it right. There are some concerning trends that we'll talk about later. It's not all perfect, but I think I think this is going to be huge. I think this is going to be great.
Me too. I'm really excited. But the reason I brought that up is my big point of contention is the big rhetoric is like, no 4K. Oh, that's disappointing. Everyone's like, what? No 4K? No 4K? It's like the announcement said 1080p. It didn't say 4K. We've known it was 1080p from the beginning. So the fact that people are surprised that it's 1080p drives me nuts because it's unfair. I mean, I'd love it to be 4K too, but the 1080p looks good. It's way, but we used to have 720p.
Yeah,
half pixelated.
Yeah.
Those ESPN broadcasts look like
there's a lot of poor.
Fox was clear.
I'm funnily enough, since this is my line of work, I don't really care that much about resolution, or if you can see what's going on, like, that's fine with me. Like, I don't.
I always preferred to watch on Fox. Because Fox's broadcasts, I think, were less compressed. They were clear.
That's for sure. That's definitely true. Yeah.
ESPN had maybe better talent because I hate like Alexi Lalas. I'd rather watch John Champion, Taylor Twellman. But like Fox had the cleaner picture for some reason, and I think it was simply because they either use newer cameras or they compress the signal less. I think it was still 720p, right?
I think. Well, it's because it's ABC. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But this isn't just going to be 1080p. I think it's going to be uncompressed. I think it's going to be good, clean-looking 1080p. And I saw it, and I was really excited. I am excited about it. Now, I didn't see the full broadcast. A, are they still going to bother the coach during the game? I hope they never do that. B, are they still going to cut to a sideline reporter every 3 minutes?
No sideline reporters. We've heard that.
Good. So that's cut.
Not to have sideline reporters, which I think, is positive.
Which means they're not going to bother the coaches, which is huge. leave the coaches alone. You know, like you know what's cool about the old MLS broadcast and Apple TV? You can see just how god awful the broadcasts were. Like there'd be a goal going on, and the coach is mid interview or mid with someone, and the play by play guy has to like when they're done, like, okay, anyway, there was a goal. Speaking of what you were, just like they're trying to do all this crap.
Yeah,
And it's like no, just the game. We could hear it. We could hear from the coach before at the press conference and after the press conference. We don't need to hear him at halftime. We don't need to hear him during the game. That's all a waste of time.
That's not necessary. Right.
Patently unnecessary.
And women can now be proper reporters like everybody else.
Right.
They don't have to be just not.
They can
like,
be in the booth.
It's not like we don't have to have specific jobs for women at the sideline or whatever. Yeah.
Although no Neil Sika and Jordan Angelini, which I think is the biggest. So all the talent has been rolled out. We've got 16 English-speaking broadcast teams. You know, some of the play-by-play guys I didn't like.
Yeah, there's definitely some surprises.
And some of the play-by-play guys I did like didn't show up. There's no JP. There's no Joe and Ian. There's no Neil and Jordan Angelini. I missed those. But, you know.
Yeah, today this was NYCFC Twitter was getting upset about, you know, they have now released these season previews for each team. And who is hosting NYCFC's season preview is Steve Cangelo. Is it? I keep
Cangelosi.
Steve Cangelosi got a framed
the great Steve Cangelos. The great Steve Cangelos.
Framed Red Bull jersey.
Damn right.
In his living room, from which he's giving the NYCFC preview. I'm
confused. That's why I want to ask you a question. So is he doing it over Zoom? Why is his living room in the frame?
He was doing it. I mean, I'm hoping that this was not the official. It looked like his house, but this was not the official.
Why didn't they film it up in Harlem? Don't they have the studios up in Harlem?
This was. I have not even watched it. I've just seen some screenshots, and I'm already over it. Like, I'm not gonna. Like, this is a misstep, and I'm sure there's going to be more of that kind of thing where it's just like, what? This is not good.
I am surprised by that.
I mean, he should do hockey, man. That guy sucks.
Hey,
anyway.
Man, Steve Cangelosi, you're going to love that guy. He's good. Steve Cangelosi is a good play-by-play guy. He's not the best in the world, but he's good.
I don't know if this is commonly known, but you have the option to switch the audio for the local radio broadcast. Right. So I'm going with Glenn Crooks all the way.
Yeah, I like how people like that. That's interesting. Listening to a radio with the game, I'll have to try that out. I'm curious what that's like. However, if I'm an MLS exec or if I'm an Apple TV exec, that is a weird move. Because the big hubbub with the change was you don't have local broadcasters anymore. It's all going national or whatever, which is what it is. But then to take the rivals play-by-play guy and have him do that first broadcast, that's a little bit of a weird move. I would have given someone else to NY. I would have, that's a little bit of a weird move. I would have done if NYCFC's play-by-play assignment over the weekend should not be Steve Cangelosi.
I agree with you. We'll see what happens.
It would just be like if Joe Totino did LAFC. It'd be weird.
Gonna be Glenn Crooks for me all the way. I don't know. I mean, the Cangelosi messing. I mean, again, like I would have not put any money on them making the cut here, but anyway, I'm not picking these people. So
Joe Totino is part of the crew, right?
Good luck.
Joe Totino is part of the crew, right? I forgot where the 16.
I don't know. I have not memorized
Apple
the whole.
TV, yeah. Anyway,
what about the new shirts, the new jerseys? Not new jerseys.
Oh yeah,
the new jerseys, not the new
jerseys. Yeah, the new jerseys are fun and peppy and exciting. I love the Red Bull green.
People have been complaining right in the past that everybody's just like. It's all just versions of white, plain white kits. Nobody can complain about that this time. These are very original.
They're
throughout.
Fun. They're exciting. They're all like the sales set is a Bruce Lee kit. They're connecting to something. Nashville has a Johnny Cash kit. Looks so cool. I love it, man. Atlanta has the retro kits already in 2017. You know what I don't love, though? The one drawback to all of this, $160, Bjorn.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been expensive. Yeah, that's been the...
Well, usually it's $90, but $90 is too much.
No,
$90 is already too expensive.
You can get the replica for $90. The one that's the other one's the authentic.
The authentics. I guess it was like that last year too. I always buy the replicas. Who buys? I mean, more power to you, but like $160 on one shirt. Come on now. I can't do that. Your Schnitzel boy can't do that. Have you done that? You have, right?
I mean, I have a weakness.
Yeah, but why do you need the authentic versus the replica? It's $70 for an extra stripe, man. Right?
I don't know.
The difference is minute. It's like for an extra $70, you get what? An extra logo, an extra stripe, or something like that on there.
Listen. I can't. There was I think we mentioned this on here a few months ago when there was this stand-up comedian. Sort of making fun of grown men wearing sports jerseys, and it hit very close to home for me. They were like, "Oh, you're just wearing a young dude's work shirt. Why are you doing that?" And it's
screw him.
I don't want to hear this. This is making me uncomfortable. No, I don't know. I have a weakness, and I'm gonna buy this one too.
Well, I'm really excited because I've talked about this. I've alluded to this before. But next week something's going to happen here in the Schnitzel Boys, and I think by Wednesday you'll have. Oh, wait a minute! At some point you'll have figured it out. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. It's a little surprise, a little Schnitzel surprise for you.
Okay.
And I think it's right up your alley, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, very good.
I don't know your schedule, so who knows when you're going to figure it out. But by next week, are you going to be in New York for next broadcast, or how long are you up?
Yeah. I'm going back on Friday. Mm-hmm.
All right. It might be a little Schnitzel surprise for that.
Amazing!
We'll see. I'm just teasing that.
I just wanted to say about the people had a lot of comments about the Red Bull kit and about how it's blue. There's a lot of blue in it. And it looked like, maybe they had washed it with their jeans. I think it's actually very nice.
Well, I don't get. You're the one. What? It's that old red. Was it a blue dress, a white and gold dress controversy? Where's the blue? I don't understand where the blue is.
What do you mean?
Look it up. Red Bulls. You're talking about the green jersey, the white and green wash jersey.
White.
Are we talking about
the new one? The one that just came out.
Yeah, the white and green.
Daniel Patrick collaboration.
Yeah, it's white and green, right? Am I missing something?
Not to my eye.
I'm looking at it again.
I haven't seen it in person.
Yeah, Daniel Patrick kit. I'm looking at it. Oh yeah, it's got some blue liner on it. It's got some blue liner on it, I guess.
Liner?
But maybe that's misleading.
It looks like somebody was saying it looked like you had you'd washed it with the wrong color in the wrong color.
Yeah, it's got a blue collar and a blue arm collar, whatever those are called. But overall, it's like a green tie dye. It's like it's green.
Green? There's no green.
Yeah, it's great. What are you looking at? What I'm looking at? Are you looking at the? Look at that. It's green. It's light green. Let's see if there's a description. Soccer, flashing, eye-popping colors, hidden meaning of the jersey, blah, blah, blah. Story for your jersey at MLSstore.com. Yeah, it's a light green tie-dye. I don't know. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
It is weird that it's blue, and also the blue very much is sky blue.
Sky blue.
I don't know why they did that. If I were them, I would have made it greener or something.
It's if they lost a bet. It's like, if you lose all the derbies one year, you gotta make your. I don't know.
However, Bjorn,
yellow. It's more yellow than it's more yellow than green to me. But anyway.
Yeah, yellowy green, whatever. But the New York Red Bulls were blue before NYCFC. Were blue. So the New York Red Bulls always had a blue second and third kit. It's a little bit of a darker blue, but we've had blue has been we're usually white and red, but we've always had that blue third kit. You see Leipzig wear it a lot, so it's not like we're not blue. We've had blue, but I don't know what's NYCFC's thing. They played in orange at the preseason thing. What's their collaboration?
That was last year's the Volt kit, or I like to call it the Bowie kit, because it has that that was last year's. The new one is called the Innerborough kit, and it has sort of a subway tile mosaic. The logo kind of is part of a texture.
Looking at it now,
the subway, and there's some orange. There's some orange trim, which is very fetching. What's a little odd is that that pattern then doesn't extend to the back, so that's a little weird, in my opinion. I don't know. I also have not. Sometimes these things, they look very different in person than on these press releases. So I'm withholding judgment. I have not seen it live.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the subway tiles. Okay, yeah, but thumbs up, man. I'm loving all these creative kit designs. Real Salt Lake's jersey looks good. I haven't seen a jersey where I'm like, oh, they all looked good. They're like, this is a good jerseys. I love the Sales Founders Bruce Lee jersey.
The Austin one looked a little bit like Matthew McConaughey designed it himself while he was stoned out of his mind.
Listen, I would if my owner did that, I would be all about that. I'm all about it, man. Austin FC jersey. See if there's any of the new ones. It's my weekly complaint about Yahoo. Okay. But jerseys, thumbs up, man. I haven't done a full analysis of every jersey. Let me look at this Austin FC jersey. New kit, Austin FC new kit. Google, you're there for me. Is it like the mint green one? Like it looks like mint green.
It's got many different patterns.
I don't know. Las Voces kit, and all I see is a black and green striped kit. The same thing they wore last year.
No,
this thing here.
This is different. This has many different stripes in many different forms.
Well, more power to him, and I hope to God Matthew McConaughey did design that while he was high, because that would make me want to watch them all here. Okay, now.
No, it's not a bad thing. I didn't mean it derogatorily.
No, I know. But
the one thing that was that I thought was odd, the Colorado Rapids had a mental health awareness kit, and they made this little video where there were all these just depressed people, and then it cut to a person with it was a little odd. I was like, so this jersey can heal depression? I don't know. It was
if that's the case,
too much. Try a little, yeah.
I think the Colorado Rapids fans can relate. I think it's for them. It's like, we know you're having a rough time rooting for us, but we got you a jersey to fix that up, to turn that frown upside down. It's the jersey that will win you over.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're still doing the same crap on the field, but it's the jersey that will win you over. I'm all about it. Well, I was gonna say, this is the beginning of the local content producer teams, I guess, and their assignments to break out local content. So maybe that was the Colorado Rapids video content team taking a big old swing, because I doubt there's a lot of oversight to what's going on with all the content teams. It's just like, you need 30 minutes every week. Let's do it.
The jersey reveal, I don't know. That probably got some scrutiny. I don't know. Well, who knows?
Also, maybe it's Adidas doing it.
Are we ready for the preview?
So we're going to do this Schnitzel Boys style. So Bjorn, why don't you take it away?
Well, I thought it would be fun to just take turns. You want to start with the West or the East?
Let's do West is fine.
Let's start with the West. And we're going to take turns and predict the order of how this is all going to end up. So since you live in the West, why don't you go first and you pick the team that you think is going to finish first, and then I'm going to pick the team that of the remaining ones that I think is the best, and so on and so on.
Who's writing? Am I writing or are you writing?
You're writing.
I'll write it. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, of course I'm writing. Cool. Just because it's a lot of clubs. So
no, it is. I was just thinking that too. It's like we're gonna be hard.
We have 30 clubs.
14. Well, it's 29. It's not 30 yet. It's 29.
Right.
14 in the West. Nashville back in the East. I just learned to I didn't realize because they were in the West last year.
Right.
And then they moved them back to the East.
Wasn't there controversy because Austin is technically more east than Nashville or something like that?
Yeah, but there's some local rivalries to think about.
Okay, so I'm on first for the West, number one.
Who are you picking number one?
Let's go LA. Let's go LAFC.
LAFC. Explain yourself.
LAFC has gone from strength to strength. Not only do they have all they were like the marquee club. They had Chiellini and Bale on their bench. Like the depth we're just like, how are they doing this? How are they buying new players? How are they XYZ? This offseason has been busy. I believe they brought in a dude from Flamengo. They brought in one or two other guys. They were linked to Pierre-Patrick Aubameyang. LAFC is not slowing down. LAFC, they had a really willing formula last year under Steve Cherundolo. And what's to say that's not going to continue? So I'm just going to go with what's going to say. A lot of this is from feeling. I haven't done super duper deep armchair analyzation. I'm just going to go this on feel. And the good news is MLS is such a wacky tacky league that this is equally as accurate as if I did any research. So it could equally be as accurate.
Well, it's also, especially in the case of my team, NYCFC, a lot of these rosters are still very much in flux. It's
right.
It's kind of hard to pick how people are going to end up. So you started with LAFC. So I think the second best team in the West are going to be the LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy? You definitely need to explain yourself on that one.
I think, just looking, this is a little bit for me, process of elimination. I don't see a lot of real standout squads in the West. I can for a lot of teams, and we'll get to them, I can make a case that they would be maybe less good than last year. I think the Galaxy are coming together. I think they were getting better as the year went on. I think they are figuring out their striker situation, getting everybody on the field at the same time. I think they have a quality squad. I think Greg Vanney is a good coach. I think they're going to be good this year.
All right. I would disagree. I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year.
Okay.
But that's not how this works. All right. Then this is like I'm the third owner who got to get Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan was third in the draft when he was drafted.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Austin FC.
Austin FC. Okay.
Didn't they? No, they were second place last year in the West, weren't they?
Yep.
Or close to it. Great year, great second year. They've also only gone from strength to strength. I think it's a lot of the same roster. And I'm just feeling it. I think Austin FC is going to have a strong year again. Third place.
I think they're going to dip a little. I think there was some, they just re-signed Sebastian Driussi. There was some, there was always some chatter that he was kind of overperforming his. I think as a team, they got a little lucky last year, I would say. And so I think they are going to be a little lower. So I'm going to pick Seattle next.
Okay. I think I agree with you on this one.
Although you could also convince me that they're going to be. I mean, they just had a poor season, and it's hard to imagine that happening 2 years in a row. But they also have a lot of ground to make up. But I think they are a squad. You can say almost as much about them as about LAFC. They have a very deep team, and
they were poor domestically. They won the CONCACAF Champions League last year. We can't forget that.
Right, that's true. Right, exactly. Yeah. So after that, it was. But João Paulo is back, who is a pretty important midfielder for them. The Roldans have re-signed. They have, Rusnak. Haber is on their team. I mean, I think he's going to be good for them. And I think they're going to be next.
Cool. All right, 5th place in the West. Your boy Stefan Schnitzel drafts FC Dallas.
Okay.
The FC Dallas. They had they had Paul Areola, and I think Matt Hedges left, but they have a lot of really good younger players coming through, and they have Jesus Ferreira up top. They finish 4th or 5th last year, or did they miss? They made the playoffs, right? Yeah, I think they made one round of playoffs. Yeah, I think same. Business as usual. I put them in 5th place. FC Dallas.
All right. I'll go Kansas City.
Sporting KC is an enigma, right? They used to be, like, up until about 5 years ago under Peter Vermeer, they were like one of the best teams in the league. They were tippy top. But over the last few years, they've been pretty meh, right? Kind of making
last year, 2 of their DPs basically were out with season-ending injuries, and so they basically it's like new signings, like getting 2 new players. And I think defensively they're going to be good. I think they're next up on my list.
Okay, next up for me, let's do it. St. Louis City FC.
What?
Yeah, why not?
What is that, 6th place?
Okay, so hold on. Now there's a big flaw to this list. And do you know what that flaw is? We don't know how many playoff spots there are.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because we don't know something we kind of glossed, something we didn't touch on.
Well, it's 7 or 8.
We don't know what the postseason is.
But
so we don't know.
It's going to be 7 or 8, right? That's
the rumor is it's 62%. So what is 62%?
Well, it's like 8 from each conference.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So this is so the reason I'm bringing it up is because they're an expansion team. Expansion teams struggle because they have to get to know each other first and figure out the league. It's very rare for an expansion team to make the playoffs. So
But you saw them.
They're going to make the playoffs.
You saw them get a tie against NYCFC, and you were like, they're for real.
Well, they don't get. I didn't see much, to be honest, because over the weekend they lost 4-1 to the Galaxy, and I think Roman Berkey was in goal for that. And then I saw them tie 3-3 without Roman Berkey. I think they have. I think they're going to struggle at first, at least. And they had these players playing, and they were very frustrated at each other. Is my emotional analysis of what I saw. Versus the NYCFC guys were less frustrated. So because they're still figuring each other out, and they come from a lot of different places. You got Löw, and you got Berkey, you got that Bosnian guy, you got Klaus, but then you also have like a bunch of MLS guys there, So I don't know, but it's Bradley Carnell, former Red Bull coach, Bradley Carnell. They have a style of play the way they go. So they were pretty organized, and I think it's going to take them to the playoffs.
6th place, you're saying?
Sure. Why not? Why not?
I mean, I hear you in the sense that even now, looking at the remaining teams, I see more reasons for struggle than I see reasons for success for a lot of these. I'm gonna go Colorado next, just because I believe in Robin Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 seasons ago they won the Western Conference, didn't they? didn't.
Yeah. So and then they, it's sort of it's one up, one down, right? Often in this league. So this would be the comeback season for the Rapids.
See, now
they got their, they got the kit that fixes their mental health issues. So they're gonna have they're gonna be ready.
They're gonna be excited in the stands. Yeah, see, this is where it goes to a very like meh. So let's do Portland. Right? Yeah. Or no, you know what? I'm gonna go crazy. Bjorn. Let's go San Jose Earthquakes.
San Jose Earthquakes. Yeah. All right.
Because not only did I see them crush it in preseason, which means nothing. Young Cade Cowell has been great offseason. He had a great run for the U.S. I think he's about to step up and be quite an effective. I know it's just Cade Cowell, but there's stuff to celebrate about San Jose Earthquakes. Maybe.
I mean, Jeremy Ebobisse is a quality striker in this league, and he's coming into his prime. I guess if I was looking for reasons for San Jose to succeed, that's who I'm thinking about.
Yeah, he was very close to being a U.S. striker back when every 3 months there was a new hot number 9.
When that, I guess that's the flip side. Even though that job was very much open, he never got a shot. So, but yeah, I think I like him, and yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if San Jose did well. I don't know. Yeah, now it's kind of. I guess I would then pick RSL next.
Okay.
In the hopes of, because they just have seemed to find a way under Paolo Mastroianni to play coherent, even though they do not on paper have such a great team.
Well, there is someone who was unhealthy last year who is healthy for this season. Do you know who that is? It's one of the greatest Germans of all time.
Bobby Wood's still there? Oh,
no, Bobby Wood left.
The German that wasn't.
Emir Kreilach is healthy.
Kreilach is back.
And if he's back in form, scoring all of their goals, then definitely they'll be in 9th spot or whatever this one is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this is 10th place. At least 10th place. Okay. I guess I'll go Portland Timbers then. Even though I almost want to... For me, it's a toss-up between Portland and Minnesota. Both teams very meh. I only saw the preseason game, but they did not look good. All their elderly Portland Timbers fans that came down were not impressed.
You have to choose Portland because at least they know where all of their players are currently.
Exactly. And Portland's one of those teams that also always finds a way. If Seattle's good, then Portland has to be good. They keep each other honest. So Portland 11th place is probably doing them a little dirty, to be honest. But Portland Timbers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean now we're getting down there.
There's only 2 teams left, right? 1, 2, 3.
2, or is it 2 or 3? I'm looking at Houston and Vancouver, and I mean.
Right, 3. I wasn't looking at Vancouver.
What's the third? What's the third one?
We have Minnesota, Houston, and Vancouver.
Oh right, yeah, okay. No, Minnesota then. I was
gonna say Minnesota is the.
You pick Portland. I'll pick Minnesota over those other 2. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they've been Reynoso being missing.
They've been a consistent force. I mean, I think their roster's getting a little long in the tooth. Maybe that Reynoso is missing. I think they're due for a down year, I think, too. But I mean, now we're in 12th place, so that's definitely that's harsh.
These are. I mean,
losers. you kind of shook up the math by picking St. Louis FC so high. I would think they'd probably be somewhere in this range. But anyway, so that leaves Houston and Vancouver, neither of which we rate particularly highly. Who do you think is going to fare better?
Vancouver, because they got Brian White. Brian White's no Red Bull boy.
Some bona fide Red Bull talent.
It's just a simple tiebreaker. I mean, Vancouver, Houston, two of the least exciting franchises I can think of right now. Like I don't follow them super closely, so maybe I'm being unfair. But Vancouver, I guess. Which leaves, how do you feel about Houston being last place?
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, Hector Herrera never really found his footing. He was pretty good, but
well, you also need more than just a defending midfielder. You know, like I can't. I mean, maybe this is my sloppiness, but I can't name more than 2 or 3 Houston Dynamo players. Is that weird of me? I should go double check the roster. But I think all you think of was Ache, and you think of Tab Ramos and his failed year there. And,
I mean, it's. I feel a little bad. Like, but it's like hiring Ben Olsen as your coach.
Yeah, it's a step down. Yeah,
it's just. It's not. It does not speak for a lot of ambition, and I think they're clearly in this mode of like, oh, we're going to develop academy talent and try to sell them, and yeah, they just don't know. They don't have a lot of veteran, cornerstone talent to.
But also, the Ben Olsen appointment is very indicative on, if I didn't know any better, it's like the MLS league office is sort of running things, kind of. You know what I mean? Chicago Fire had that feeling for a while, and sometimes still do. When I think when Frank Yallop was hired as coach once a few years ago, people were like, Frank Yallop? It's like, he's from MLS 1.0. It's like, he was clearly just a dude that was available and he was cheap. So they hired, you know what I mean? It doesn't yell excitement. So that's our West. The 2 LA teams up top, followed by Austin, Seattle, Dallas, Kansas City, St. Louis. What are they doing up there? Colorado Rapids to San Jose, RSL, Portland Timbers, kind of on the lower side, Minnesota, Vancouver, and Houston. So I think we're not picking. We're picking Portland and Minnesota to kind of fall on themselves a little bit this year, aren't we?
Yeah, I would. I mean, listen, this is such a fool's errand. We don't know. I mean, when the MLS, that's what people make jokes about, people laminating these predictions. The MLS pundits always give a list, and they didn't know what to do with NYCFC this year. It ranged anywhere from 3rd to 10th.
Yeah. Same with New York Red Bulls. You can probably do that with most teams. New York Red Bulls, most people put them in like 3rd or 4th or 5th, which is what they use.
But I could see
12 years in a row they did that. And then 3 guys like, you know what, 9th place. I'm like, 9th place? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. East.
Right.
East. You go first, my friend.
I go first. First place. I'm going to pick the Union, I guess.
You are using your head, not your heart. Okay,
I am.
I would have done the same.
I had another team in mind as a sort of more daring choice. But yeah, the Union, I think there's also reasons. I think they're not going to get as many points as they did last year. I think I think there's going to be a little bit of a coming back to earth, but I think they're still a good pick to finish first.
Cool, I like it. Union was your other daring team. In my mind, it's one of 2, maybe 3. I'm good. I've been saying this all year. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Second place is Toronto FC.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. That's not who I was thinking.
You were thinking Atlanta, maybe?
I was thinking Atlanta, which I'm now gonna pick for 3rd place then. Yeah, I don't know. Toronto. Yeah. You can. I mean, there's definitely reasons for optimism there. They've at least made efforts to fix their weak spots, but I just don't believe that roster works. But we'll see. You might be right. You may not be. I think Atlanta seems like a team that's really coherent. Like that roster, it seems like Thiago Almada is going to be better this. Like just because this is the second year, they're gonna be good. I think
if he stays here. Okay, my fourth place is very indicative also of what I'm betting on this year. We'll talk about is the New England Revolution.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
very interesting, right? I am betting on Bruce and Bob. I'm betting on Bruce and Bob. Talked about last year. They took a year off, but never count out Bruce and Bob. They are the best.
But they're going to sell their goalie. Like I just heard, they're going to sell their wonder goalie.
They already sold their wonder goalie, Matt Turner, and then they replaced him with another wonder goalie.
And they're selling
him, which means a third wonder goalie is TPD.
They just have an endless supply.
Have faith in what Bruce is doing over there.
Wow. All right. So that already brings us to the 5th place.
That's right.
So that means I have to pick my own team now?
You don't have to.
I'm going to. 5th place, I'll go NYCFC.
Okay. NYCFC. 6th place, which is actually, again, right now I'm kind of yelling at myself. 6th place is the New York Red Bulls.
Okay.
Now, that is very much like them. Last year, they've gotten between 4th to 6th place the last few years. But this year, they've reinforced themselves. The one big hole they had was number 9, and they got three different number 9s to choose from now. So they got one. Hopefully, one of them hits. Dante came into New York yesterday to much fanfare. A couple of people visit him at the airport, and he's excited. And hopefully, he'll work out. If he works out, heck, maybe we'll be supporters for the winners. Who knows? If it doesn't work out, it's more 5th to 6th. I guess I don't know. I have to put him here because they belong there. I believe they'll do better. I hope they will. I don't think they'll do any worse, though. So 6th place is safe as sort of a low ball bet for my Red Bulls.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my playoff math here is now thrown off because I didn't have New England or Toronto that high. So now, like, I guess I would go. I'm going to go FC Cincinnati.
Interesting.
I mean, Brendan Vasquez,
The front three. They have a really exciting front three.
Their front three is good, and they have their midfield. They're a well-rounded roster, and they're also only just gonna get better, I think, this year. So, I mean, although now there's a few other teams that I think the East is
way stronger than the West, right?
Way stronger than the West, right? Is that? Do we? Agree?
Yeah. I agree. My mentality in the West is like sifting through the trash. I'm be aggressive. My mentality in the East is sifting through gold, right? a little extreme, but
if you're going to do these playoff things, then they should have 10 teams from the East and 5 from the West, maybe, or something like that. It seems
we might have talked about this before, but they should have 4 teams from the East and 4 teams from the West, and that's it. That's my 2 cents. Makes the season matter way more, and then the playoffs are just as exciting. Make them 2-legged playoffs.
But then, on the other hand, then you have so many teams that are going to be out of it so early.
That makes the 2/3 of the season matter more.
Well, but then on the other hand, for a lot of teams, then it doesn't matter because they're already out.
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway,
pro rel. Okay, Columbus Crew,
Cincinnati, Columbus Crew next. Okay.
Also, simply because there's a lot of strength. The reason I'm not picking Montreal is because they lost their strongest asset, their coach. And their coach went to the Columbus Crew.
Yeah.
So Wilfred Nancy, a great coach for Montreal. We'll see if he's more of a club guy versus just a generally talented coach. He's going on the Crew, and we'll see if he brings his magic to the Crew. I'm putting in the Crew.
Wow. Okay. Some teams that made the playoffs last year are dropping quite low here. Yeah, I guess I gotta go. We're now, what is this, 8th place?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're picking 9th.
Wow. Well, I gotta go Nashville then. I mean, you think Nashville's gonna finish 9th or lower? Like, I don't think so.
I wish we had our Schnitzel cousin Ryan Baker on here, who's he's a big Nashville fan. I want to pick his brain about it. He's not super. It seems like he's not super excited about things. What has Nashville done in the offseason? They still have Hani Mukhtar. They still have Walker Zimmerman, right?
Yeah.
Have they added anyone? I think I don't know. They had a DP last year that was a little disappointing. I want to say, right?
Can't say that I know for sure. Janil Anibaba retires. I don't know. That probably doesn't play much towards the end. I guess you're right, but this is 9th now. We think they're going to miss the playoffs, Nashville?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, and we still have. Okay, well, you're next, so I'm not going to tell you who's.
Yeah, let's do Inter Miami.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They've been improving over the last few years under Phil Neville is figuring it out. But they don't have Gonzalo Higuain. However, they got Arango, right, from LAFC? I think. Big move, big change. If he works out, Inter Miami will do well this year.
And they're getting Messi in the summer, right? No.
We have them missing the playoffs, I guess, but we'll see. It'll be a little bit of a drop off. I mean, Arango ain't no Gonzalo Higuain. So anyway, let's just Inter Miami.
Gonzalo Higuain was not Gonzalo Higuain for the whole season either. He came
only for the second half. But this is again one of those things where it's like all these teams are too good. It's an embarrassment of riches. It's like this is where I feel people are missing out.
Now we've got
the remaining teams are Montreal, Charlotte, Chicago, DC.
Well, I think Chicago and DC are the bottom.
Right. Orlando's the other.
Orlando is it's a little bit hard to pick, but like I guess I would say they're next.
Yeah, I agree. Orlando's one of those teams that they could win or they could not win. It's hard to shouldn't unterschätzt them. You shouldn't underestimate them. But again, they're missing the playoffs in our bracket here. So
I know. Right now we're in the garbage. We're in the garbage section, and this is pretty. I mean, I think Charlotte is going to do well. I don't think they're that. Yeah, it's all very close.
Yeah, you know what? I was about to say Montreal, but
I mean, exactly.
Charlotte over Montreal
was second. Montreal was second in these. I mean, they lost everybody.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had a slash and stuff's going on. But maybe I should put Charlotte instead. I'm going to put Charlotte instead. Charlotte, because you're right. It's a second. It might have a second season slump. Karol Swardowski, I believe in that guy, but they lost Christian Fuchs. He retired.
Yeah, come on.
I know, but I don't really. What did Charlotte do? I don't know. I'll just put Charlotte before I talk myself as an idiot because I didn't do a lot of research, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on all this stuff.
So,
Charlotte.
So I guess then I'll pick Montreal next.
Montreal?
Which seems like this would be a pretty dramatic fall for a team that finished second in the East last season. Yeah. But yeah, they did, Mihailovic, and they lost their coach, and I mean their entire spine basically left. So it's going to be a tall order for them. But that's still a big drop for a pretty good team.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's a decent spot because, like you said, their star player and their coach left, and they didn't really replace him. You and I have no faith in Wayne Rooney. DC United will finish second to last. Their Wayne Rooney will have lifted their club one spot higher.
I would have picked them. I would have picked Chicago over them. But I think
I have a little bit more faith in Wayne Rooney than you have.
I don't think that's not a good roster. Like, I don't think. I mean, the jersey's nice, the Cherry Blossom kit, right. But yeah, I don't think that is a well put together team. We'll see.
And then Chicago Fire, last but not least, they're this. But you're right, the East is strong. The West less so.
I mean, it's just a lot of. You can make a case for
any of these teams.
For any of these teams, and there's a huge range. I mean, NYCFC, I could see them missing the playoffs if they get off to if this doesn't, in a perfect world, signings are coming in and the kids get a chance, and then once the new people come in, there's all this depth because the other people have had a chance to play. But if this goes, if this goes bad early and people lose confidence, and this could also, I could. For NYCFC, I could see a lot of different. Could see this going a lot of different ways. So, and I think the same is true for a lot of these teams. I think expectations are high for Toronto, but that could also go very poorly. Same with New England.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe St. Louis City FC will win the whole thing. So what we have, MLS is impossible to predict. What we have is Union and LAFC repeating their East and Western Conference
which
championships.
Is really highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely?
That usually doesn't happen, yeah.
So who's in MLS Cup this year, Bjorn? Let's do a very early prediction. Is it going to be a repeat of LAFC and Union, but maybe this year it's in Philly and Philly wins? Because that'd be a fun story. Or is it, who's in the final this year? What's the MLS Cup this year?
It's going to be NYCFC and the Galaxy.
Nice. Okay. You're really leaning to the Galaxy. Not me, man. That's where we disagree. Is it going to be in LA or in New York?
No, LA.
Nice. Cool.
No, we're not going to
come out here. We'll go.
We're not going to get a home field because we're going to have a poor record.
All right, cool. Galaxy NYCFC. I am gonna say Toronto freaking hosts it and wins it, and they beat Austin FC. Is that silly? Yeah. I'm gonna go bonkers random. Toronto FC wins the league, and they host Austin FC in the final. Those are Schnitzel predicts. That's been the MLS preview. The very loose goose Mitgefühl. Tell the audience, Bjorn, what Gefühl is.
With emotion, with
feeling. Yeah, we don't use our heads.
Yes.
We are using our feeling. Excellent. Do we have any last U.S. soccer thoughts?
I don't. You had something I was going to ask you about that press, the Gary Neville, Phil Neville.
Phil Neville. Oh, yeah, that's a whole topic, but we're already an hour and 8 minutes in. Essentially, Phil Neville, we'll talk about it for a quick second. Phil Neville said it's Bush League that MLS doesn't know their playoffs. It's unprofessional, and they should be better if they want to be a professional league or be a top league.
It doesn't have that. Why are they a Bush League?
So MLS does not know the playoff structure. No one knows.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, we're starting the league without knowing how it ends, which I don't remember ever being a thing.
Yeah,
that's very new this year.
I think he's right. I think that is crazy.
And Phil Neville said that's ridiculous. You should know. And I'm with you. I agree with him.
Yeah.
So he was I just love he's on. Phil Neville is unafraid. Just go out there and say his mind. I love him for it. And MLS, maybe they were too busy doing other stuff, but what the hell, man? Just stick to your. I think there's rumor has it Apple needs more home games, so that's why they want to switch it up or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe Apple's involved in this.
Is it Apple or the owners? The owners want home games,
or the owners or something. All I know is it can't be. All I know is like it should just be the same playoff it was last year. Why change it, right? But I guess something's got to give. And with Leagues Cup coming in, the whole second half of the season is just going to be a mystery. We'll figure it out as it goes along, I guess.
They'll tell us. Yes, yeah.
In the meantime, just do your best and play some games. We'll tell you who's going to make it or who's going to make it later. Cool. So yeah, that was the last bit of thoughts.
All right.
MLS. Come on now, MLS. You know this is ridiculous. All right. This has been the U.S. Soccer Hour with the Schnitzel Boys. See you all next week when we have a whole weekend of Apple TV free on Fox.
Right.
MLS Play. We got a couple more 1-0s from Eintracht Frankfurt and the other ones. So it was a good show. See you then. Tschüss.
Tschüss.